back again with a bit more about the Nintendo Switch 2 and accessibility. This time there's no video because I don't have a capture card and I can record longer for 3 minutes if I don't have to worry about video. So audio only, I'm afraid, but this is about the speech and what it sounds like to use it anyway. So I shall press the home button on the console now.
Home menu is currently suspended. Press the A button to continue. Press the Y button to open featured news.
I'm going to press A.
Press the same button 3 times. Press the B button to go back. Home menu. Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
So as you hear, we get quite a bit of information when you first boot the console, or at least take it out of sleep as I did. It tells me what game we're on, it tells me there's options with the plus button, and if the software was running, which you will hear later, we'll press X and we get the option to close it. So it always lands on your games list when you turn it on, and below is a lot of kind of almost like a dock, as if you will, items that run at the bottom. And if I go up one,
on each page. Button. There's another list below.
we get to my name, which is currently Onge, and it says on each page. It doesn't always say that. There are places where it can actually say my name. So I'm going to press A to enter this and show you what's in here.
On each page. User settings. Button. Vertical list. 5 of 5.
So it's on the bottom because I must have been in here semi-recently and it remembers where you left it. So I will go up.
Add friend. Button. Friend list. Online. 0. Invitations. Button. Invitations to use game chat or play online will be displayed here. Profile. Button. 1 of 5.
So these are the lists in here. Some of these can be entered like submenus on Windows or macOS with the right arrow key, or in this case, obviously pushing the joystick to the right, but not everything can.
Onge. Offline. Button. Vertical list. 1 of 9. Friend code. SW. Play activity. Help. Button. 2 of 9.
Yeah, so I just cancelled that because the friend code is very long. I don't mind you having it, by the way, but it is just really long. So I pressed the right. I pressed right on the joystick to go into the menus, and now we can go and read all this information.
Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. First played 20 hours ago. Button. Brok The InvestiGator. First played 1 day ago. Nintendo 64. Nintendo Classics. First played 2 days ago. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. First played 2 days ago. Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Nintendo Switch Online. First played 2 days ago. Button. 7 of 9. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. First played 2 days ago. Mario Kart World. First played 2 days ago. On each page. Profile. Button. Invitations. Button. Invitations to use game chat or play online will be displayed here. 2 of 5. Update with the Y button. Can't find a chat. With the plus button.
So I'll leave it there. As you can hear, it's quite verbose and gives a lot of information, and none of these hints can be switched off at this time, but I don't mind that because it's good to know when something might be useful and when it may not be.
Profile. Button. 1 of 5. Home menu. On each page. Button. There's another list below.
So what I did there is just hit the B button to come out of that menu, and we're back on the home screen now. And if I go down, we'll hear my game list, and I can push to the right to show you the other games that are running.
Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
Sorry, not running yet, but we're going to run Mortal Kombat in a bit.
Brok The InvestiGator. Button. 2 of 13. Nintendo 64. Nintendo Classics. Button. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Button. Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Nintendo Switch Online. Button. Mario Kart World. Button. Invalid button. 7 of 13.
So these invalid buttons are empty game slots. There's no games in that slot yet. And I imagine that, well, actually, I don't know, but I imagine it would probably push off to another page of games, and maybe I could switch to those pages with L and R or do something. There is a view more button at the end as well. So possibly that would switch to more. So if I go down one more row below the games.
Sleep mode. Button. Horizontal list. 10 of 10. There's another list above.
Right, so I want to talk about this. If I were to hold the joystick to the left, it would go really quickly to the first item, but it wouldn't wrap around and keep going. It would stop there. But if I push the joystick to the right, just push once.
Nintendo Switch Online. Button. 1 of 10.
Then it wrapped around to the left, which is understandable. So if I go back to sleep, 1 to the left, which is all the way to the right, by the way.
Sleep mode. Button. 10 of 10.
I'm now going to hold the joystick and it will go all the way to 1.
Nintendo Switch Online. Button. 1 of 10.
Now I'm going to go the other way.
Sleep mode. Button. 10 of Nintendo Switch Online. Button. 1 of 10.
So this is also a really nice and quick way to navigate the settings or wherever you are if you've got a lot of options. So speaking of settings, we're going to go into system settings just now and have a look around in there.
Game chat. Button. News. Button. Nintendo eShop. Album. Game share. Controllers. Virtual game cards. System settings. Button. 9 of 10.
So that's 1 just before sleep. So I can press A to enter settings.
System settings. Flight mode. Button. Vertical list. 2 of 18.
So flight mode is 2 of 18. What's the first item?
Support. Button. 1 of 18. There is a QR code on screen. If you want to know more about Nintendo Switch 2 and its features, visit the Nintendo support website on your smart device or PC.
Okay, so the first item is support. I'm pretty sure that this must have come with an update because I kind of remember when I got this that flight mode was the first thing and support was somewhere further down. So they've changed the layout or something. Well, I wasn't looking. So let's go down and let me show you. I'm not going to go into anything just yet, but let's just go down the entirety of this settings menu and hear what we can hear.
Flight mode. Button. Screen brightness. Button. Bluetooth registered trademark audio. Button. Internet. Button. Parental controls. Button. Accessibility. Button. Data management. Button. User. Button. Controllers and accessories. Button. Audio. Button. Display. Button. Me. Button. Amiibo. Button. Themes. Button. Notifications. Button. Sleep mode. Button. 70. System. Button. 18 of 18.
And this does not wrap. I'm pushing the down joystick and it's just staying there. So this would be a prime opportunity if I wanted to go to the top very quickly to hold the up joystick.
Sleep mode. Support. Button.
And there we are.
Flight mode. User. Control. Audio. Display. Me. Amiibo. Themes. Notification. Sleep mode. System. Button. 18 of 18.
I missed it. I was looking for accessibility. I was going to take us inside accessibility. So let's go somewhere to the top, but not close, not all the way.
Sleep mode. Audio. Controllers. User. Data management. Accessibility. Button. 7 of 18.
Number 7. So can I press the right joystick to enter it? Is it submenu? Will it let me do that?
Change button mapping. Button. Vertical list. 1 of 13.
Yes, I can. So I can go down in here.
Change button mapping from quick settings. Disabled. Toggle button. Text size. Default. Button. Bold text. High contrast. Zoom. Change display colors. Mono audio. Text to speech. Enable text to speech. Enabled. Toggle button. 9 of 13. On-screen text will be read out loud. Press and hold a control stick to play the voice text again. This feature might not be available for all screens.
So this is something I was going to talk about, of course, being blind, and some of you, I suspect most of you, are here for this reason as well. So I could disable it at this point, but I don't want to. But it did say that you could hold the control stick to repeat the screen. So I can hold either left or the right joypad or control stick. So let's do the left one.
System settings. Text to speech. Enable text to speech. Enabled. Toggle button. Vertical list. 9 of 13. On-screen text will be read out loud. Press and hold a control stick to play the voice text again. This feature might not be available for all screens.
So that's pretty cool. It does allow me to listen back to the option if I missed it. So let's go down.
Voice type. Voice 1. Button. 10 of 13.
So I'm going to show you the second voice. Can I do right here? No. So I'll press A.
Voice 1. Selected. Button. Vertical list. 1 of 2. Voice 2. Not selected. Button. 2 of 2.
When I press A to select it, it will select it.
Text to speech. Voice type. Voice 2. Button. Vertical list. 10 of 13. Text to speech speed. 155%. Slider. 11 of 13.
So it can change the speed as well. I'm going to put back voice 1 because I don't really like this voice.
Voice type. Voice 2. Voice 1.
Text to speech. Voice type. Voice 1. Button. Vertical list. 10 of 13.
I find this much clearer and less gravelly and like an old man smoker. So to do that, by the way, I pressed up joystick, A, up joystick, A, and then it was done. So let's go down.
Text to speech speed. 155%. Slider. 11 of 13.
So with a slider, I can use left or right to move the slider up or down.
129%. 110%. 50%.
Ooh.
60. 100. 234%. 280%.
So it does go quite quick. How quick does it go?
300%. 300%.
Okay, 300. That's pretty reasonable. Let's go all the way down. I think it's 50.
50%.
So yeah, 50 to 300. So let's get it back to kind of where it was.
90, 110, 100, 132%, 148%, 159%.
I think it was there.
Voice type. Voice 1. Button. Text to speech speed. 159%. Slider. 11 of 13.
They're quite weird values, these. It's not like 160 or 150. It's 159. Yeah, don't know why. So what's underneath here then?
Text to speech volume. 100%. Slider. 12 of 13.
So there's a slider for the text to speech.
116%. 89%. 65%. 81%. 94%. 99%. 100%.
Again, strange values. I think maybe it starts to speed up if you hold the joystick even for a tiny amount. So I literally just nudged it to get it back to 100. I've never taken this volume higher or lower than it was. It was always quite fine for me.
Change speech to text and text to speech during game chat. Button. 13 of 13.
So what is this? Change speech to text and text to speech during game chat. Let's see what it does.
Change speech to text and text to speech during game chat. Change speech to text. Display speech as text. Disabled. Toggle button. Vertical list. 1 of 5. Game chat session participant speech will be displayed on screen as text.
Game chat speech will be displayed as text. Okay, so if they speak into the microphone in game chat, it'll probably turn into text.
Language. Match console language. English, UK. Button. 2 of 5.
Yeah.
Please change the language here if you would like to speak in a different language than the one set for the console. Other users in a chat session will also need to change this setting on their console if their speech is not converted properly. Change text to speech. Convert text to speech. Disabled. Toggle button. 3 of 5. Entered text will be converted to speech and played for participants in a game chat session.
Okay.
Voice type. Voice 1. Button. 4 of 5.
So here you could have the other voice for game chat so that it did not conflict with the screen reader. Notice they don't say screen reader anywhere on the system. It's text to speech. So it's as if they are ashamed of the word screen reader. I don't know. I'm being a bit facetious, really. But yeah, you will not see screen reader anywhere on the system. At least I haven't found it.
Language. Match console language. English, UK. Button. 5 of 5. Please change the language here if you would like to use this feature with a different language than the one set for the console.
Okay, so that's that one. So why don't I just press the home button now and it will come right out of settings and everything and go straight to the home screen again.
Home menu. Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
Notice it put me right on the first game slot, which is Mortal Kombat 1, which I bought last night, and I played for many hours and enjoyed it. And after this video is done, I'm probably going to play more of it. But let's go into a game that doesn't talk, because what I want to do is show you how much nothingness you can do. So I need to go 2 to the right, at least 2 to the right, because the first game after this is
Brok the InvestiGator.
which does.
Button. Nintendo 64. Nintendo Classics. Button. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Button. 4 of 13. Options with the plus button.
So let's go in here. Okay, I'm in a game.
Friends Online. 2.
That was not part of the game. That just happened to speak because of a notification that probably popped up in the top left of the screen. Cool. Audio. That was a nice logo. I can't use it because it's not mine, but it was interesting. So I'm pushing joystick action and nothing is happening. Okay, hold on.
Home menu. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Playing. Orange. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Close software with the X button. Options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
So you heard there that it was in a game. I was pressing the plus button, which is like the start button as well in a lot of games. It's also play pause, and it would have done things if I'd have kept pressing buttons, and maybe I would have ended up in a game and had no idea what I was playing. Okay, so we know that works. So if I go off of this game to the left or to the right and then come back to it, we'll hear that information about the software again. So let's go to a game that's closed.
View more. Button. Capcom Arcade Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. Button. 2 of 13. Options with the plus button.
And back to the left.
Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Playing. Orange. Button. 1 of 13. Close software with the X button. Options with the plus button.
Okay, so I just discovered, or / worked out, that the first game slot is the one you played most recent. So it's basically organized by recent, not by install / download. Okay, I learned something right here in the recording. So I can close this game by pressing X.
Close the software you are currently using. Close. Button. 2 of 2. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. User icon for the user playing the software. Orange.
What if I go up or down? No?
Cancel. Button. 1 of 2.
Ah, this is a left-right. So yeah, I do want to close it. I'll go back to the right.
Close. Button.
And I'll press
2
A.
of 2. Home menu. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
So let's go open Mortal Kombat, for example. Actually, before we do that, let me show you what happens when you enter somewhere that the console cannot speak. It's built into the console. Because you'll still hear movement, but you won't hear any speech. And I think the Nintendo eShop is a good place to try that. So if I go down...
Nintendo Switch Online. Game chat. News.
Actually,
Button. Nintendo Switch Online.
that works,
Button.
right?
1 of 10.
Okay, what happens if I press A?
Text on some screens cannot be read aloud beyond this point.
Right, text on some screens cannot be read aloud beyond this point. And it's into a thing. And so I can arrow around with the joystick here. But I do not know what is happening. So this is what happens when they don't fully build out their, as they say, text-to-speech, not screen reader, notice, not screen reader, fully. So yeah, there's nothing I can do about this other than press the home button and come out of it.
Home menu. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
So this happens semi-often. And look, today is Saturday. The console came out just this Thursday. Gone, so it's less than a week old, right? So it's 2 days-ish, 3 days old, whatever, however you want to count it. So I do expect a lot to change. So I'm not giving up hope. And as I say, there are things we can use. So let's go into Mortal Kombat, for example, which has built-in text-to-speech. Let's call it that, the same way they do. And it's using Festival. And it's a completely different voice and sounds like it.
Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. Button. 2 of 13. Options with the plus button.
I will press A.
In a dark void, sand drops through the neck of an hourglass into a heaped pile. The last grain slows in the air, then bursts into cosmic light. The light pulses and myriad galaxy clusters resolve in an abyss. One galaxy spirals radiantly in the dark.
Having liberated the hourglass and become keeper of time, my next task was to restart history. Not beholden to past.
Home menu. Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. Playing. Orange. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Close software with the X button. Options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
So I didn't close it because I didn't want to show you the rest of the game, or at least a little bit of the actual TTS. I wanted to just comment that the audio description in here is very well done, and that is part of the game and not part of the console. The game developers themselves have chosen to offer audio description for parts of the game. And it was the easiest thing to do. But it also does allow me to show you what happens if you go back into a game that is running and it just carries on very, very quickly. The console is fast, and you will notice that as soon as I press A now.
I was free to craft.
Mortal Kombat 1. Press the button. Camp. Choose your destiny. Part 1. Mortal Kombat 1. A button confirm. E button cancel. Left and right button navigate.
So this is the voice built into the game. It's very different. You have no speed controls, no voice controls. So what you hear is what you get. Now, every menu does read, and it is good. Everything I found anyway. I haven't found anything that doesn't, and that's nice, but I would like a little bit more customizability. So let me press B.
Towers. Towers of Time. Earn rewards by completing challenges in a living rotation of towers. A button confirm. Versus. Customize. Learn. Extras. Settings. Adjust one-play rules, audio mix, video calibration, and accessibility settings. A button confirm. Up and down button, change category. Minus button open combat card. Plus button open store.
Okay, let's look at these accessibility options. Sorry, I had to wait for it to finish speaking and I didn't know when it was done.
Gunplay. Customize the fight rules used across most modes of play. A button confirm. Up and down button navigate. B button back.
So let's find where these speech things are.
Online. Controls. Tournament. Video and audio. Accessibility. Visual. Enable screen reading, text to speech, customize your audio mix, and more. Screen reader. Toggle whether on-screen text for menus is read. On. Left. Off. On. Left and right button, change. Up and down button, navigate. E button back. X button defaults.
I don't like the way it says
Off.
off.
On. Off. On. Off. On. Screen reader volume. Adjust the volume of the screen reader. 80%. Descriptive audio. Toggle whether story mode cutscenes, fatalities, and fatal blows include audio narration describing what is happening on screen. On. Left and color blindness. Select color blindness setting. None. Left and right button, change. Up and down button, navigate.
Home menu. Mortal Kombat Trademark 1. Playing, orange. Button. Horizontal list. 1 of 13. Close software with the X button, options with the plus button. There are other lists above and below.
Okay, so you have just heard a bit of that. And I'm going to stop it here because I feel like I have shown you a little bit around the console. And if anybody has further questions, I will happily come back and do more. But, you know, without somebody being here as I do this, guiding the questions, I can only go off on what I remember people wanting to know. And that is what happens when you enter a game that doesn't have screen reader support or a game that does, because Mortal Kombat called it screen reader support. Haha, we finally saw the mention of screen reader. It said screen reader / text to speech, but, you know, it did. So that's cool. And some built-in options that don't have it. So hopefully you've heard the lot. But if you have any more questions, I will come back and address them in another audio update, probably, because it won't be video, because it means I can talk longer than 3 minutes. So yeah, just let me know, and I will try to do my best to address them as much as I can. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. Leave your questions in the comments.